Ready. All right, Bannock County Commissioners are back in session. It's Monday, what is it, July 28th. Holy cow, we're back in budget discussions. We have a few department heads and a few people here this morning, so we're going to do things a little bit different than we have in the past. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask all of you to wait outside except for who's up first, and we'll have you come up first with we'll give you 10 minutes to talk about your issue, and we'll go from that. So that way you can kind of have a private setting to talk about what you want to talk about, and then we'll get through that. And then once we're done with you guys, we will go into executive session so we can talk about individuals and salaries and things like that, and then we'll come out of executive session whenever that happens and talk about the rest of the budget out in public so we can go forward from that. So with that, I will ask everyone to leave except Mr.
Eisenhower.
Mr. Eisenhower.
Yeah.
Come on right up front, Mr. Eisenhower. And you are with the
Bannock County
Historical Society, right?
Museum.
Yep.
Okay, you asked Arlen. Arlen's sick.
Yeah, I went up and visited with him. He's going to survive, but it was pretty touch and go.
I went and saw him yesterday. He kind of relapsed. He's got a HIPAA, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's sick.
Yes.
Can I get one of these each for these guys?
How many copies do you have?
There's just four. Okay.
Somebody will have to give that to Nancy for the record.
Okay.
I can do that.
Because you asked Arlen for some breakout of how our fee structure works. The last time you met with him.
I'll share it here.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, on the top here, I crunched this last week, and what it is it's a breakout of our income for the last year. We have kind of a convoluted process where we divide between the museum and the fort. I'm going to suggest, I think Arlen agreed with me, we're going to streamline that so 80% of all income goes to the museum, 20% to the fort. Right now we break it out by types of sales, tours, all this other stuff. We tried to break it out. In the past we broke it out by if there's a big tour coming through, or all the school tours and all the stuff that goes on primarily in May and June. We broke that out between the fort and the museum, but I'm gonna suggest we go to 80%. 80% of everything goes to the museum. Okay, it's just too hard to keep track of. What I'm requesting today is everybody wanted to have a third person hired for the museum. We come to the conclusion that's overkill. Okay, if you look at the tracking on here, on the second page, it is 60% of our 60% of our traffic and person take place from May to September. Okay, so the only time we need that third person is when the fort's open. Okay, so the fort opens in mid-May. Then we have a coverage problem. Well, we've always had it. We used to have 3 people. We went down to 2.5, and we had a person in the last year who was totally responsible for organizing events, organizing tours, meeting with the Oregon Trail Society. So if you notice the numbers for May through last summer, this is in 24, those numbers were really good. Okay, that's because that person was doing a great job of marketing the fort, and and the fort drives it. Okay, the museum is probably just another museum, but we get a lot of people from out of state that come to see the Fort Hall replica, believe it or not. Okay, so it's kind of a big draw. Like this week we have the BYU school all the teachers from BYU will be here Wednesday. There'll be 50 people coming in on a bus, and they come and look at that. They come and look at Fort Hall, and so that's where we're getting. That's where we get the lion's share of our outside income. That's where we get most of our, what we're in the business for. Everything that I'm an old banker. I'd like to, for 4 months we've become a retail site, not a museum. Okay, we're catering to travel and to schools and to people that are history buffs. Okay, so That does take place. I've been out there a lot lately because we've had some staffing issues. And like Mondays, we get, 20 people that come in on, their history, or Oregon Trail history nuts, okay? And so we, what we would like to propose is that we have coverage for 4 months, for the 4 months of the summer. One of the problems with that is that only as good as that person. It's a temporary job. Maybe we hit a home run with Pam in the last year. So we would hire somebody part-time from May through into September, okay, with your guys' approval. Lots of problems just with coverage on Monday. With 2 people, we have a tough time. We're open on Mondays without not having some additional staffing. We have to pay overtime because we're open on Saturdays. Okay, so with 2 people, we just can't really cover the port as it needs to be covered. We have to shut. In the past, 3 years ago, we used to shut down on Mondays. We're finding that's when a lot of these people that I just talked about come in. Okay, basically that's where we sit now. But if you look at these numbers, the numbers on seniors is not correct. That's $5 now. We raised that. Currently, I think this year we had more than close to 1,000 school students, 4th graders. They take Idaho history, whatever it is. We had close to 1,000 students come through. Okay, so that was a surprise to me. But they come in. We get 40, 50, 2 or 3 times a day. In May, when those field trips are going on, we really have a tough time. Taking one batch out to the fort, we just don't have the coverage that we need. If we had another person, that would be taken care of. Okay. So what we're looking at is for May through September, somebody making around $15 an hour. That comes to about $12,000. That's what we're asking for. Instead of the 3rd person, which would be, that's just too much. And we know, to be honest, we knew we wouldn't get it anyway. Okay, so that was my proposal. All right.
Okay. All right, any questions?
How much do you get from City of Pocatello?
No, they cover the fort. They cover not much. They take care of the fort. They take care of the town, pretty much the museum, and then they take care of some at the fort, which is a lot of this. You can see their difference here. Just a few $1,000s. They do repairs, do the yard work, do all the. They do take care of overhead.
Okay.
Which is kind of we can't put a number on it. The lawn guys come mow the lawns, and I don't know exactly what that is.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
We'll let you know what's going on.
Thank you. So I'm new to this, so did I do okay?
You did great.
Okay.
You did great.
All right. And Arlen said he's getting better. He likes to talk. If you want to go up there and spend some time, he'll talk.
He will. He will. I was up there Saturday for about an hour.
No problem with that. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Who do you want? I can go get him.
I got it. Who do you want?
Oh, I was gonna say,
I'm
I can go
thinking-
get him. I'm closer.
That's all right.
Your guys' call.
Who would be easy? Who's
I know
the
Matt's
easiest?
gonna be executive.
All right. So Dylan.
Dylan shouldn't be executive.
Dylan or Scott?
I never did see a financial from these guys. Did I miss something? From this?
Museum?
State your name? No.
Never did see a real fin-
Actually, just get out.
And your 10 minutes will begin.
Page 78.
Did you ever see that? That's what I was looking for.
The floor's yours, Dylan. Go ahead.
Dylan Evans, landfill manager. I was here to talk about the 3rd full-time scale house position and see what you guys' thoughts were. I was able to last minute, get you guys something out Friday. I don't know if you had a chance to review it or not. Didn't know if you had any questions off the top of your head about it, or...
My question for you, Dylan, and with the new scale house, how automated is that going to be? Are we gonna have visual from there up to where Aubrey's sitting? How the sales themselves are, with the technology we have now, are we gonna have a camera down there so that Aubrey or you could actually see what's happening inside of there? Are we gonna, how much credit cards is it gonna be, how much cash do you really deal with? Can it be dealt with remote transactions with? All I know is you can go to McDonald's and you're ordering from somebody from Arizona. Everything can be done remotely. And that's what I'm just trying to get a handle on, that scale house addition, and what's that gonna deal, can we deal with some of that stuff electronically?
So I would say our commercial accounts, like the, City of Pocatello, City of Chubbuck, those, I think those can be fairly automated. It'll still have to go through kind of a batch reporting. So what they'll do is they'll actually run 3 batches, so 1 for each scale that's operating. So it'll be something that they'll have to enter into the system. That's one question that we have, of how seamless is that integration going to be. I'm sure we can find a solution there, but that's only roughly like 40% of our transactions are the ones that have tare weights that are able to go in. They say, I'm truck Pocatello B720. It's an automatic route that says I'm a cell 4 route. So they would come in, automatically get their weight, print their own ticket out there on the kiosk, and then they could take off and go. Hopefully. We're thinking that it should be pretty seamless as far as that side of things go. But the rest of everybody else has to be load inspected. They either have to scale out and they have an account so they don't actually exchange money, or they will have to pay cash or card to go out too, so.
So somebody's physically looking at the load to make sure it's not the wrong stuff?
Yeah.
Can either that been operated by cameras?
Yeah, and I think that'll help a bunch. That's one thing that I do want to incorporate with the new scale house, is to have overhead camera to look in. We don't actually leave and like sift through their garbage, but they just kind of take a look at it from ground level and see if they see anything obvious. We get quite a few people that try and save $5 and, oh no, it's all clean.
Right.
So.
But if you put a camera down there, for instance, somebody that was in Aubrey's chair could actually visually talk to and visually see as if they were sitting down there.
Yeah. I don't know if we have the capability. The one kiosk that's going to be like the automatic check-in lane, those are the ones that will leave for our commercial accounts that don't need to scale out. So yeah, I mean, we could see potentially, if we had that program on our computers, we could see that load inspection camera for sure.
Okay, that's what I'm just trying to get a handle. I mean, everywhere you're going, everybody's going automated. And with somebody's looking at it from somewhere, they don't necessarily have to be physically in that scale house. They could be up in the office and meet 2 demands up there at the same time or whatever. That's what I'm asking. Have we looked into the technology that maybe we're going to lack, or if we can spend money on technology, sometimes that saves money on the personnel side. And I'm new to this, I just don't know what you've got going in out there. But
to follow up with that, I think we could probably really automate the export line, do a card-only line that people just check in, pay with their card and go. You don't have to really even talk to anybody.
We have the plumbing going to the 4th outbound lane, but we didn't put money in there for the additional scale and a kiosk.
How much would that be, you think? Just ballpark it.
Probably 300, maybe 400,000.
Okay.
That's the majority of this whole project, is just the scales themselves, so that
Right.
they're fairly expensive.
Well, given our current setup, you could still automate that front line, because if you're a credit card only, you could have that with a kiosk, especially if you thought about it for a future. Now that you're talking about that, you plumb it so you can have a kiosk on the outside of it, so eventually you can add that 4th scale on just a credit card line on that far outside, not close to I don't know if I'm making sense. I can see it in my mind anyway.
Yeah, I kind of see what you're saying. It's just such a weird world up there. of having people be unattendedly checking themselves out, that it,
Yeah, but if you put a gate down, one of the automated gates, they pull up to the gate, scale reads them, pops up on the screen, you owe $5, tap your card, gate pops up, where you go. If it's cash
Yeah.
only, then you're coming right in next to the,
I guess if you did it kind of like a parking garage or something where they have just one ticket, but then even still, I mean, you're always gonna have to deal with people that struggle, but I think that that could be a viable option.
People are becoming more used to that all the time. Your parking garages, your, even, they pop up, they don't even know if somebody's sitting there. You go to McDonald's and they go, are you using our app? And if it is, you put your code in and, you know, so same way with weighing it in, weighing it out. That's not gonna change, whether somebody's physically sitting there or at least visually inspecting it from some other location. So that's the question that I'm asking to help make that decision, so.
Yeah.
I'm not-
And I do think definitely the overhead camera for load inspections is, that's gonna happen, because I think that makes a big difference as far as being able to catch things up front. We're all doing load inspections anytime somebody pulls in anywhere. All the operators, all the seniors, everybody. If I see a truck that looks suspect going to a place that it shouldn't, I'll take 5 minutes and go talk to them and make sure that we're doing the right thing. So that's definitely something that I'm super interested in.
But you're only really load inspecting the one side, the incoming side. So long as they're coming up, because they're not gonna haul it back out there with them, hopefully.
Right.
So all we're doing is just putting a camera, which there should be one there anyway for security reasons. Visually inspecting that load as they're either sitting there or pulling through it.
Right.
So, okay. Just trying to get a handle on that.
Yeah. It's a lot, man. It's pretty wild, some of the stuff. I mean, each interaction's a little bit different. I mean, there's new people coming up every day, people that have never been to the landfill. We get those regularly, so a little bit of conversation goes a long way with these people.
yeah.
And I'll just tell you where I'm at. I think we're a year early on an employee. I think that we need to see what's happening with the scales. We've been investing in that, and I think we're investing a fair amount of money to try to improve things and stuff like that. Then I look over here where we're trying to give some increases in wages to the employees that we currently have. And I think that that's my number one priority, is to give them some benefits to start with. And then if we pick up a few extra job duties, then I think that then we'll have a better discussion after we get the new scale in. So that's where I'm at with it.
Okay, any other questions? Okay.
Awesome. Well,
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Thanks, Glenn.
consideration, you guys.
Go ahead and send
Thank you.
Scott in, would you?
Yeah, I will.
I think Scott's going to talk about both of his budgets. 61 is the Event Center Wellness, and then we can do the Bannock County events next.
Love the bigger numbers.
They are kind of nice. I like them.
Gee,
Which one you want to start with, Scott? Park,
It's just the event center,
Event Center? Okay.
so my main budget. The only, well, the only thing that we had talked a little bit about that I think that would be beneficial for us is, I have 4 assistant park coordinator positions currently, and one of those 4 is a person that has a CDL, and then I have another guy that I'm sending to the CDL. And I would like to make those 2 CDL required, and then bump them to the level that we had, or the everybody else has bumped up their guy to, I think, a 9 or something like that.
So it's just a 1 grade increase, and honestly, I think we missed that.
We just missed it.
okay,
We had intended to make that happen.
so
Missed it.
which numbers are they?
It would be position control 108, 101, and 103.
So I'm on the event center, so I'm on the, okay.
So that moves them up 1 pay grade.
I know we'd had a discussion also about the overtime budget. My overtime budget's $10,000. Typically, I spend my overtime budget if somebody is leaving, or if we get really high on comp time. You guys have allowed me to take our comp time up to 200 hours, which we usually manage down in the fall. And I don't have a problem with that. My guys have been able to do it the last few years, just pull all their comp time down to where right around the first part of the year, we're empty on comp time, which is really nice.
But that
This
really
year-
only works as long as you have employees without a lot of longevity.
Yes,
So it's gonna become an issue as employees stay.
yes. And so I've got, a couple of my guys, Jake's been with me the longest, Aaron's been here for a while as well. But both those guys right now are they're over 150 hours of comp right now.
That was
Chase.
before last night, Saturday.
Yes, because Saturday's on a different pay period. But Chase, who started with me, Chase worked with me before and then he came back. And he started this summer. He's gonna be at 180 hours after this pay period. And we're going into this 3-week stretch where I have 6 concerts in 3 weeks. And you can average, we're averaging about 16, 18 hours a day for the concerts. A lot of those concerts are every other day or back to back. So like the Joe Bonamassa concert, which is, so we have a seated pit for Dwight Yoakam, which is Saturday. Then we'll roll it to a pit, an open pit for Friday for Dropkick Murphys, back to a seated pit Wednesday for Joe Bonamassa, back to an open pit Friday for Old Dominion, back to a seated pit to an open pit. And all that means is it's just hours of work, right? So just for that concert, and that's all our permanent staff that do that. The event staff, typically we want to have them, the part-time event staff we want to have in a monetized position, right? So if they're there for concessions, they're there for something that generates revenue. And so our full-time staff handle a lot of this overflow. And we're putting a huge burden on our full-time guys this year, and I've been a little bit, I've gotten a little bit angry about some of the concerns that have been voiced by members of our community because our folks are just busting their butts, and I take it personal. I'm not gonna lie, I take it personal. And I've thought about how to improve that. Like I don't know what the solution to that is. We've had a full-time staff. We've had a full staff this year, and we're just running. So, and if we have some solutions for that, I'm open to all those things. We've tried adding to or discussions about our temporary staff budget. 2 years ago, we couldn't hire people. 2 years ago, we had people that would get hired and they'd quit because the workload's crazy. This year, we've done a pretty good job hanging on to our temp guys. But I don't know, the temp staff they just don't have the buy-in. And for our full-time staff, I could take 10 more people. But
At some point, we're gonna need to add, I don't know if it's this year, but we're gonna need to add staff up there.
I agree. Agreed.
So, but options are increase some overtime so that these guys aren't accruing as much comp, but they can still manage and take some off during the winter time. But, there's still stuff to do up there, so they could run a skeleton crew. So anyways, the two options on the salaries, moving to a grade 9, that's gonna be $2,974 per person plus benefits. And then if you choose to do something with overtime. One thing on the Bannock County event side, we do need to add about $10,000 to overtime. We missed during this fiscal year budgeting for the sheriff's office to do patrols up there. That was missed, so it's being absorbed with extra help this year, but we probably need to add that line item for next year as well.
Okay.
For overtime, we could use,
Yes.
yeah.
Sorry, you want to finish that for the public? We can use one-time monies.
Yeah, we can use one-time money for that, because
I knew he was
overtime's not
saying.
guaranteed the next year.
So the hard question that I've got, Scott, is, and understandably, you guys have been remarkable with these concerts. Is there a way to do the timing different to where we don't have this many concerts within a 4-week period of time?
yeah,
Because it's not only going to cost labor, they just can't do it, but it also is, it's actually a burden on if we continue to lose money per thing there too. So overall, I'm looking at next year, not what we're doing this year.
Yeah.
Is there a way that we can schedule better to where we literally limit the time period in which we put that many on and put that much more burden on the overtime or whatever? I'm just throwing that forward.
And I can explain that
scheduling.
process. I can explain that process to you. So when we submit offers on concerts, we have a limited window because we're an amphitheater. And quite frankly, most places that run concerts, that's just their job. So if they have a concert there every night, that's their job, right? So they're okay with that. We're a little bit different where our concert staff is probably 60 to 70% of our time during the summer for shows, and then we have another 100% over here on this other side. So when I put in an offer on somebody, they'll give me a date range and they'll say, okay, here are the 2 date ranges that they're looking at. And usually those date ranges are a week or more, right? And so sometimes there's overlaps and we do what's called a first hold, a second hold, a third hold, right? And so when we start looking at names and we're trying to bring in big bands, or decent names, we'll put them on those holds. And then as they start kind of settling in and building that schedule, we don't always necessarily choose that because we gave them a date range. So we said, yeah, the first week in August is good. And so, like ZZ Top was looking at August 22nd, 23rd. We have nothing that weekend, right? So then they slid back. Oh, routing slides them back. They can get fit in on this day. And so when I look at, like, if it would have been a country act, right, and not a rock act, I probably would have pushed back and said, hey, we can't do that. But where I think that from a partnership with Niederlander, for a venue our size to truly generate revenue moving forward, probably in that 15 to 20 shows a year is going to be a sweet spot for an amphitheater. We did 11 this year, 6 and 6, so I think next year we'll probably be in that same 10 to 11, but we're going to run into the same problem next year because if we want a good band, I'm always going to go for a weekend if I can, and then as we start scheduling, we give them a date range, then they kind of fall in, and we have to just be willing to accept it. I think this is part of the world that we agree to with running the amphitheater, is that from a concert standpoint, they'll put shows in there 5 days a week. It's hard on us though.
My biggest concern is, again, we're chasing a lot of county dollars.
Sure.
To do that. And I know Parks and Recs are never going to make money, but on the other hand, my
Concerts are
conservative
different than
nature
Parks
is we
and
can't
Recs.
just keep dumping
Yeah.
thousands of dollars either through additional labor,
Sure.
through overtime, or through whatever else, loss of ticket sales down a rabbit hole either. I guess that's just
Sure.
my concern, but that's long-term, so.
But even to answer that question, the process that I go through anytime we look at a band that we want to bring to the region, we don't have great regional data, right? Because there weren't the best records kept from before, and we don't have great regional concert data to show what the region is going to support. But there is data that we can pull. There are venues that will report ticket sales, and so we subscribe to a program, Polestar, and we will pull reports to show how well these guys have done everywhere else. And so usually the ticket sales, like if a band's averaging, they make $300,000 per show, if that's their show average, then that's usually what they're going to ask for. And if I can go back and look in history and say they've made $300,000 every show, and that the request for the guarantee is lower than that, is lower than what they're bringing in on average, then I'll put in an offer. If it's higher, or if I just don't feel great about it, or if the name's not there, I'm not going to do it. To this point, every show I've put in, I've put offers in lower than what they traditionally make. And so on paper, all the data that I have, we're getting a good deal every time. And sometimes we do get a good deal. A couple shows ago, we got a guy that's on the rise, and I did play a little bit of hardball with him, and we got him for pennies on the dollar, and we'll make money on that show. But the people love the venue. People that come, this show, we had people from Boise, we had people from Salt Lake, we had people from Washington and Oregon. People like to come to the venue. It's, I think that if we stick with it, it could be a destination venue, like Red Rocks is. Red Rocks is a small venue, out of the way, but people flock to Red Rocks, and they sell out multiple days in a row. Red Rocks is a destination venue. What we have been told, and Commissioner Huff's been there, and Jason's been there when we've had these conversations, we've got a minute to climb before we're in the black of the revenue on the concert side of the world, but we're doing it right now. So when it comes to the time of our staff, this last show that we did was a lot of effort because of backside connections, right? The president of CAA, who is putting a lot of shows in our venue this year, he personally represents Dwight Yoakam, so we wanted to make sure their experience was great. In addition to that, this year we have one show that is essentially a venue rental. We're not paying for it. Now we'll accrue some costs, but we'll bill those back to the show. And then we have another show that is a 50%, so we pay half, and the touring group is going to pay the other half. So that's the goal we're working towards, is to have people that want to put shows in on their dime, where we maybe get the food and beverage, which is what we're going to do on this one, or that we split and reduce our liabilities, which is what we're doing on another one. Hopefully in the future that's what all of them are, but to that point, people are going to expect us open all summer long, 5 days, 7 days a week. And so when we're good at what we do, we're only going to be busier.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
sorry, that was a long explanation.
Well,
I just
but
want to throw it out there.
But
to
it's
you.
well timed for the decisions we're trying to
Yeah.
make with overtime and with all of that other stuff, so appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead, Sandy.
Thanks, Todd.
Ian?
Yeah. 35?
Oh, I'm not there. You beat me.
You don't have it memorized?
It's gotta be 35, not page numbers.
How y'all doing?
Good morning.
Counselor?
What's that?
Counselor?
Hey, everybody. Sorry, I have something in my left eye that I've been working on getting out for the last
Your
several
finger, I
minutes.
can see it.
Well, that's my eyeball, too. What's weird is my finger's usually up my nose, so that's the other problem. So, this is my first time stepping in on a budget like this. I would like to say that everything seems to be going pretty well so far. I did also want to make mention, at a previous time I discussed an attorney who was going to leave my office based on the salary, and based on the budget proposal that I made, and probably some additional smooth talking in the hopes that this could be secured, she decided to stay here in anticipation of this coming through. And from what I've seen thus far, it does look very promising, and I'll be able to keep that to her if everything goes ahead. So I wanted to say thanks for any support there, and also point out that, you know, a little bit goes a long way with some people. So one other thing, actually two little things I needed to clarify on this, and this might be part of my inexperience, but in two different positions, it looks like the existing pay approved budget for 25 is higher than what the proposal will be for two employees.
So that occurs because if you had an employee with longevity in the position when we set the budget for 25, but that employee leaves and you have a new person come in, they may not make what that person makes.
Okay.
So that creates that difference.
So that's what it's...
Basically, it's turnover.
Okay.
And if you want to talk specifics, I can look at those with you specifically. But we tried to make notes to the right as good as possible so that you could see if the person was getting something. But to judge it based on the FY25 budget can be deceiving.
Okay.
What we probably should add in here is maybe a column where it says FY25 salaries. Maybe what we need to start doing is putting that as an annual salary amount so that you can get a true accounting of what that person makes. But then if you have turnover in between departments, to clerks, to commissions, if that's not updated, that doesn't help you. So maybe
Okay,
if you
all
want
right,
to email
yeah.
me those two
Yeah.
specific people, then I can bring that up to the board. The only other option is if we went into executive, we could look at those specifically.
No, actually, I think with what you're saying, that makes some more sense. And there weren't notes on one of them, but with what your explanation is, that makes more sense. And
Okay.
again, like I said, this is my inexperience
No,
with doing this.
I've had that same question from a few departments, that it's easy to forget that the budget may be set on this employee, but then transitions happen and it's a new person.
And the budget is set, but what's currently being paid to that employee is not the same as what the budget
Exactly,
is set at.
because we don't change the budget.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Right on. Cool. That makes me, clears up a lot of things for me there. But aside from making the comment about being able to maintain that employee, I wanted to express my gratitude for this and for the efforts that have gone in thus far. And double check that if any of y'all had any questions for me, I would be glad to answer those.
I think we're good.
The way Commissioner Moser is flipping that ruler around, I'm worrying that I'm gonna have to stand up with palms down, knuckles up.
No, like I say, we'll have a discussion here in a little bit about all salaries.
Right on.
Okay, go ahead and
Thank
send
you.
Matt in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, if we add that other line, the other benefit is we'll make the print smaller.
I like that.
That wider paper here.
And we did talk about having to, like for the next commission proposed, if we run another scenario, we might have to take a column out that's historical.
Just hide something.
Yeah, so that it
So we
can
can
still
read
be
it
the
still?
size.
You can kind of hide those expenditure ones.
Gonna have to have it
Well, but the
magnified.
expenditure ones help you see,
Well, like
justify
that.
why it's where it's at. So,
Right.
but we can work through that. Matt is on page 18.
So Matt, did you just want to talk about employees right off the bat, or did you have something else that you want to talk about
Employees,
first?
that's all I have today is employees.
Okay, so then we need to go into executive session under the appropriate Idaho code, which Commissioner Moser has there in front of him.
Let's do
A and B.
A and B. Code 74-2061 A and B.
Commissioner Moser,
Yes.